are now tuned into DAR Sports Media, the college football show, our final one of the season. Our man Lee Harvey is still so blowed out from celebrating this Ohio State victory that he couldn't find his way here tonight. He is still stumbling through the streets somewhere, maybe in the snow in New Orleans. I don't know. Heck of a season behind us. Ohio State comes out the champion. Something that, obviously the story is insane because it was not even, what was it, a month ago? 6 weeks ago, people were talking about Ryan Day might be out of there for the lack of ability to beat Michigan. And now these guys come through. They win the national title. They're pretty clearly, look pretty clearly like the best team. It felt like Notre Dame was fighting from underneath pretty much that whole entire game. They make that drive at the beginning, and it's like pretty epic. But then you got the guy who was carrying the ball fucking puking on the sideline, and it's like this is the extremes that you have to go to make a dominant drive on this Ohio State defense at this point. And that right there, told us all that it was probably going to be a rough night. Notre Dame made a heck of a game of it at the end. I cannot fucking believe that we already saw this mistake made with the game on the line with Arizona State against Texas, and Notre Dame chose to replicate it. Tate, tell me, this is just a quick question. It's not a trick question. What's the best possible thing that could happen when you send a zero blitz? What is the objective?
To get a tackle for loss.
Or, assuming it's going to be a pass.
Get the ball out of his hands.
Yeah, sack the quarterback.
Yeah, tackle for loss.
Sack the quarterback. If you sack the quarterback, the clock keeps moving. So you're either going to make a timeout or you lose time. An incompletion stops the clock. So why, with the game on the line, you would take that risk? Because that's what zero blitzes are. It's taking a risk when you need to turn things around or put your defense in a more advantageous position than when it's getting run over or put the offense behind the sticks. You take a big risk in order for the possible payoff. Why you are taking risks at this point with the game on the line when the Ohio State offense hadn't really done anything in several drives, leaving Jeremiah Smith, of all fucking people, one-on-one on the outside with the game on the line. I'm sorry, man. Whenever, if you look at the end of your checklist of things on what you're going to pick to do, if the end of the checklist ends with Jeremiah Smith is left one-on-one with no fucking safety help, that's not the play you're going with. Especially not with the game on the line. If a first down ends the game for you, I couldn't believe it. I was so frustrated with that. Jeremiah Love's severe lack of touches in the game was also very frustrating. But, in the end, you got to give it to, that's been kind of a theme too, like the college coaches, the college players. Like we have seen multiple teams in situations where they were dead to rights and the other team did something fucking crazy to let them off the hook. We saw it with Arizona State and Texas when they sent that blitz on 4th and 13 when they could have won the game if they just played regular defense. And then Texas returned the favor to the football gods next week by having fucking Ohio State first and goal from the 1 and deciding to do something fucking crazy and pitching it backwards 7 yards and running outside. And then, once again, Ohio State ends up the beneficiary of it. A crazy call on 3rd and long that could have got Notre Dame the ball back with a chance to come back down and take the lead. Disappointing. The field goal that they called also late in the game was also disappointing. I don't know what the hell you're doing right there. But lessons will be learned. Great season by Notre Dame. Vindicated Tay saying how great of a team that they were. And a hell of a job from Ohio State. Tay, what'd you think of the game, man?
It was a good game. You could call it a good championship game. Ohio State was the better team though the whole time. Notre Dame played from behind pretty much the entire game, or they did play from behind the entire game. And you know what happens when you're playing from behind, you got to pass the ball. Like you running the ball is just burning the clock and just make it hard on yourself. That's why they couldn't really run the ball, you know, like it's like the smartest thing to do is to pass when you're down. You're down by a lot. So I mean, that alone, that just messes up your offense, like just being down. And I mean, the game was just great. Like just to see if you're a fan of the NFL too, like a lot of these guys are gonna be in NFL jerseys. You know, they're gonna be playing on Sunday, like Quinshawn Judkins and Travion Henderson. Like a lot of these guys, we're gonna see these guys next year in the NFL. So it was just great to see, you know, how many different future NFL players there were on the field.
There was a lot, Jeremy. I love that guy Greathouse for Notre Dame. My goodness, really emerged. Multiple players on their defense at future NFL prospects. Totally right.
High, like 20.
Do you think that we got the right outcome? Do you think the playoffs did their job? This format?
Yeah, these were some of the best teams in college. Yeah, it's solid, but I don't know about those bye weeks though. Like I kind of think, that's why Oregon lost. Like it was what, a 20-something day break. Like that can be good. Like breaks are good sometimes, but like come on, a month. Like I just think that's kind of like, I don't know. It's risky to get the bye week. It seems like Ohio State's kind of showing like, you know, you would prefer to be, you know, get the home playoff spot than the first round bye, because you're gonna play a team that hasn't played football.
Well, maybe the conference champ. Maybe they. Oh God, I know this is gonna make people fucking lose their minds, but like, hey, maybe they round it up to an even number, and then say we do 16 teams. Number one team. So basically, what I'm saying is conference champions get home field advantage.
Yeah,
maybe that's how we can do it through the first two rounds.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the advantage, that we keep the sanctity of the regular season intact. Something like that. And then, as the 1 seed, you're playing the number 16. A lot of times that'll be a pretty big difference. So it's still a pretty big advantage that you would want to play for and win the conference. I feel what you're saying. It also just, we got to find some way to make sure, right? That was kind of the happy medium. That was kind of the compromise with this, is like, we got to find a way to make sure that the best regular season in all of sports is protected. So yeah, I agree. Maybe something to do with the bye weeks. Just maybe we can figure out something, because you got people talking about they want to do away with the conference champions getting anything, and I think that's what's the point of, like, no, you got to do something to win the conference championship and make the regular season matter. My thought, if you wanted to do that, was to make and I know this is gonna trigger some people, or maybe there's some scenarios where this could go poorly, but if you really care about protecting the regular season, make it so after 3 losses you're automatically eliminated. Period. Maybe something like that. I don't know. So a little bit, since we only got 1 game to go on, what's after this, we were talking about the NFL draft, where some of these guys are headed. What's your people you're the most, or draft storylines, what's your draft storylines coming off of this college football season as these guys go on to the next level of their careers?
I'll start off with Cam Ward. Before the season started, Cam Ward wasn't really on anyone's radar. He's been in college for enough years now. He's been eligible to come to the NFL, but it's just cool to see him play and perform his way up to the top 10. Like last year, he wasn't on anyone's board, wasn't on anyone's radar, but just knowing, you transferred to a new school, bring them back to relevancy. Like they haven't been. Miami hasn't been good in 20 years. Yeah, I just think that's cool to see. That's probably one of the better storylines. And then another one, Emeka Egbuka on Ohio State. He was a first rounder last year. He was a first rounder last year. Ohio State recruited Jeremiah Smith, and he decided he wanted to stay another year and mentor him like that. That's very risky. He could have got hurt and ruined his style. Something could have happened, but he bet on himself. He wanted to be a good person. He wanted to be a mentor to Jeremiah Smith, and he did just that. He's still a first rounder. So that's one of my other favorite storylines. He bet on himself.
So where do you think we'll give a little sneak preview to when we start doing some draft coverage here in a few weeks, about a month. Where do you got Cam Ward on your big board? Do you got him as a legit top 15 guy, or what do you think?
Yeah, I think Cam Ward. I think he'll be a good quarterback. It's gonna need some work. Like it would be nice if it was a good situation. I don't think Cam Ward is one of those guys who you just put on with whoever, whenever, and it'll just happen. But like if these teams do want him, like maybe Cleveland, they need to go they need to pay money for offensive weapons. Like whoever it is, whether it's the Titans, even though the Titans, they said they won't pass up when a generational talent. Sounds like they're talking about Travis Hunter. So the top three isn't even
is that what they were talking about, you think? There you go.
Yeah,
let's talk about that. Is that what the Titans were talking about when they
That's
said?
Exactly what they're talking about. Yeah.
Really? You think so?
Yeah. There hasn't been a guy that plays multiple positions like that, like excel at it since like Jabril Peppers. Yeah. It's been almost 10 years for someone, to play both positions to a high caliber. Yeah, that's
so let's get it straight here. Let's get it straight here. There's never been anyone who's played both positions to the caliber that he has.
Yeah.
Woodson played some receiver, won the Heisman, but he was a dead away cornerback. Like Travis Hunter was top 10 in the nation in receptions.
Yeah.
So nobody's ever been literally draftable in the top 5 at either side. So yeah, perhaps that was who they were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Drew got in here. We're talking about the draft storylines. These guys moving on from college, the college stars that we just watched. Who you looking at? Who you anticipating? Who you excited about? What's your top draft storylines?
Honestly, storyline wise, for me, I'm always gonna go back to Prime and those guys in Colorado just to see where they land. Yeah. I think that's the story, because on top of that, you still have the elephant in the room of, well, obviously Prime ain't gonna be the Cowboys coach. So, what happens? What happens elsewhere?
Well, I think an underrated part of that is, he said you have to take both my sons. So like whoever gets Shedeur, then it's kind of a game of chicken about Shiloh, right? Because Shiloh's a decent player. Shiloh's probably going to make an NFL team, but it's not like I don't got him in the top 50 or top 100.
No, I don't.
I mean, you're probably talking about like real legit draft grade. We're probably talking like 5th round. And so then the game of chicken becomes, does some team fuck over the team that took Shedeur? Does it even play a role? I mean, to me, that's really interesting. What are your thoughts on that?
It's interesting. It is interesting because I don't think Prime is going to get what he wants. I don't personally feel like, what I'm saying? Like I think you had it pretty much right, like around 5th round. That's like a 5th rounder. So, Shedeur is obviously going to go, very high, but I don't know. I think the one thing is, when it comes to this type of thing, I understand that the LeVar Ball way of of parenting has bled over into sports, and Richard Williams' way of parenting, and you got to have my kids, and but I think there's a huge gap between these two, that there's no guarantee that this team is, whoever drafts Shedeur, there's no guarantee that team is gonna have him available by the time we get to 4th, 5th round. There's no guarantee. So I don't think Prime is gonna get what he wants. But also, I love Prime, but I mean, who are you to say that anyway? Your kids are declared. If they declare for this,
that's what I was gonna say next. Does any team care that much to like overdraft a guy? I'm looking at Draft Buzz right now, draftbuzz.com, and friends of the show, and he's the 20th ranked safety, not defensive back. 20th ranked safety, which puts him in like lucky to get picked category.
Yeah. And I get it, I get.
But at the same time,
I get it. I get it. He wants his kids to, play the same place, but that also raises an eyebrow for me too, right? Like, oh, you have to take them both. Why is that, Prime? Like, would they go to a team that has a coaching vacancy or needs a new coach? Is that what you're planning? And if that is the case,
maybe he was saying it tongue in cheek. Like, oh, that'll never happen. It would have to be a team who takes both of my sons. That would for that. Yeah,
might be just the angle thing. I mean,
at the same time,
Prime is Prime. He likes he likes his angles, and he likes his it's what he likes to do. He likes to stir shit up. I just saw a video of him. I guess he has a show on Tubi that I didn't know actually was a thing, and he was talking about Roxy.
Yeah, and it was a whole
like we not out here doing nothing. I ain't hitting that. Prime ain't hitting that. It's just shit like that. Like he just talks you like to hear him still talk. So I get it, but I just think to me that's the funniest story currently around the draft storyline wise. And yeah, I mean, I don't think Prime gets what he wants. I don't think he's gonna get what he wants unless, of course, like you say, he's being tongue in cheek, kind of just just putting it out there to just to fuck around. But I don't think he's gonna get what he wants. But I would keep a watchful eye on where Shedeur goes, because who knows? Like too many things happen.
And it's never on notice at that point.
Because it's like first you go from Prime is he'd be willing to accept the Cowboys offer as soon as they offered it to him. But then they got quiet, and then I think we were talking about it the other week about like were the Cowboys going to make a trade and try to trade up, and like what are they planning to do? And now that that's completely out of it, then it's quiet on Prime's end. So it's like, what does that mean for whichever team is planning a draft? Like there's some conversations that we're not privy to that happen behind the scenes between these, all these moving pieces. And that's what I'm thinking about. And I'm curious as to how this plays out. But I fully believe some trickery is afoot with these situations, because little too, little too, it's like a little too on the nose. Like, oh, you got to draft Miles Sanders together. Oh, there was some talk about the Cowboys and possibly wanting to get another quarterback. And if they went through the draft and got one, could they get like there's that conversation? And all of a sudden, Prime is like, oh, if the Cowboys want to hire me, I'm willing to take that job. So there's something there. Where there's smoke, there's fire. So I don't believe Prime is going to coach Colorado much longer. So that is my feeling. It's my gut feeling. It was my gut feeling once they won 9 games. Like I had that feeling like, oh, he accomplished his goal of reaching, like a winning season and a successful season. And now that he's done that, he's gonna leave for, I guess that's the goal for everybody. Even if people say that that's not their goal, if you're coaching in the NCAA, you're coaching in college, your goal is to eventually, if you can, make it to, especially if you're a former NFL player yourself, a legend. I think that's your goal is to coach or to be an executive for one of those teams. So I have no doubt in my mind that Prime will be coaching in the NFL fairly soon.
Tay, I'm gonna come back to you. What do you So where do you think Travis Hunter is going, man? You're pretty bullish on him as a prospect. What do you think? Where do you think is it? You really think it's going to be the Titans?
Yeah, I do. Like
That is because they have fucking nothing going on at quarterback. But
they do.
I guess you get Travis Hunter, it makes the quarterback's job easier.
Yeah, I just think like I'm all for taking a quarterback, but I would understand like this draft. I would understand why they wouldn't. Like Travis Hunter is like a surefire player to me because he can play two positions. There's no way he's gonna suck at both positions. So you're getting a starter, a guaranteed starter, in my opinion. If you draft him. So I don't know. I don't think that the Titans might still see something in Will Levis. Like they might want to try it one more time. They might want to give him some more weapons and try it again. Like I could see that. Like the Titans, they just. I don't know. Like I could just for some reason.
Sam Darnold going to be out there. Everybody feels better about him all of a sudden.
Nah. Sam Darnold's going back to the Vikings. That's the only quarterback available too. That's the only free agent. So if you don't like, if Sam Darnold does go back to Minnesota, that's it. Like you're.
Aaron Rodgers is going to be the quarterback for the Vikings.
You think
I can see it if he doesn't retire. If he don't retire, I think that's it. Because also he's got to follow behind. He got to follow behind his predecessor. He got to follow behind Brett Favre. He got to end it there. He got to end it that way. He got to complete it like literally. Like he's literally followed the footsteps. So he got to do that. But also he'll be available.
Keep it in college. Yeah, damn straight. To keep it in college, my top storyline is this might be, top end. We've had some legendary. I mean, it's going to be tough to top the draft that had both Ricky Williams and Edgerrin James. But in the modern era, the last 20 years, this is going to be probably the deepest running back draft ever. There's 10 guys who could be NFL starters. 20 guys who have draftable grades on them that could play for teams. Ashton Genty, of course. Omarion Hampton from North Carolina. Caleb Johnson was a beast for Iowa. Dylan Sampson, explosive player out of Tennessee. That's before we even get to the big bad man Travion Henderson, who can catch, block, run, 4.3 speed, doing it all. Like you said, we ain't even got to Quinshon Judkins. We haven't even gotten to Anthony from Michigan. We haven't even gotten to Donovan Edwards is what I mean, Anthony. Donovan Edwards from Michigan. We haven't even gotten to Ollie Gordon from Oklahoma State. We haven't gotten to Cam Scatterboo from Arizona State. Like there's just guy after guy after guy after. Devin Neal is a beast from Kansas. There's just a ton of guys who are going to be legit in the NFL in this draft. You're going to be able to get them well into the in the lack of focus, the lack of value put on drafting running backs means you're going to keep getting these guys 4th, 5th round. I mean, there's Le'Veon Moss out of Texas, big body, 220, probably going to run the low 4.4s, high 4.3s. It just goes. And DJ Giddens, Kansas State, who can do it all, who can catch, who can block. Tons of guys. This running back class is going to be ridiculous, and I'm so excited to break it down once our draft coverage starts. But the man of the hour has staggered his way in here from the streets of New Orleans. Well, he's been celebrating all week, so I guess we'll end off the college football season on our college football coverage this year in the proper way by hearing all about it from our Ohio State representative. Lee Harvey is here. Man, the sky was falling there in Buckeye Town. When just 6 weeks ago, the sky was falling. Called Jim Tressel, get him back out here. All of this. And then here we are, Ohio State, pretty dominant fashion throughout. The scores weren't dominant, but they did look like the better team on the field. In each game that they played, looked powerful against Notre Dame. They take home the national championship. Let us know what it was like, man. Tell us your thoughts on the game.
Hey, I'm so happy for these guys. Will Howard was incredible throughout this whole playoff run. He capped it off the other night. Judkins was amazing. Henderson, even though the stats don't say it, he played well against Notre Dame. Jeremiah Smith, it's not 3rd and 11, it's 3rd and Jeremiah. The defense, I feel like they kind of took their foot off the gas when they were up 31-7. But I do credit Notre Dame for coming back. They had me worried a little bit when it was 31-23 with 4 minutes to go.
Yeah,
but
perfectly set up.
Yeah, but it was on that drive. It felt like Chip Kelly was setting that Irish defense up for the deep ball. They knew they were going man to man on 3rd and 11 anyway, because that's all they know. So yeah, it's nothing like being a Buckeye fan, and 10 years later, after winning in 2014, it was the most unconventional way, but I'm incredibly happy that we got it done.
That is about right. That's a good way for us to leave it off. Sky was falling, Ryan Day getting chased out of town, and then they're lifting the trophy at the end of the season. Well, you just got a little taste just now of our NFL draft coverage. That'll be the next time you hear us talking about football, other than, of course, the next couple of weeks rolling into the Super Bowl. But anything involving college players and college football, the draft coverage is what you'll be hearing in about a month or so. We're trying to lift the trophy here at DAR Sports Media for all of your content needs. A Hoops Hour is coming up. We're kind of waiting on a big NBA trade to possibly happen, but the Hoops Hour will be soon. Next week, one way or another, there's a Hoops Hour coming out. We're hoping it's after this nifty little trade that might be going down. Of course, we will have your NFL coverage, your conference championship results. Got a little surprise, maybe. I was going to talk to Drew about it when we get off of here. Little idea I have for the week off between the conference championships and the Super Bowl. We'll have you guys covered for that. And then me and Drew will be coming at you February 2nd, the day after the Royal Rumble, with a Royal Rumble review.
So excited for that.
Spend too much time reviewing other things that have happened in the world of wrestling and wrestling Twitter and wrestling internet. Because we will not filthify our show with that.
I'm so goddamn done with this wrestling Twitter shit.
Every minute.
I've never seen anything
Every minute we spend in the wrestling Twitter cesspool, we become more pure. We get closer to being virgins again. We lose bodies off the count the more fucking minutes we spend involved in this fucking nonsense. It's going to take a long time, but eventually we'll be virgins again.
Yeah, it'll take a long time. It'll take a long time.
But it is extreme. It's extreme levels. It's extreme levels of fucking loserdom. It's like radioactive gamma ray shit, though. So, it's like 2 bodies per hour, basically. The more time we spend involved in any sort of fucking loserdom on goddamn What were you going to say, True?
No, I was gonna say, man, you know, my DMs blew up today because there was some wrestling Twitter nonsense, and so people typically. But hey, man, I'll tell you what, I appreciate, I appreciate everyone, that's shown us support, that's watched. I mean, our YouTube shorts right now have been, especially our live coverage of the games have been insane, going up. So I appreciate that. Wrestling wise, not gonna lie, uh, you know, still enjoy wrestling, but the outside noise. We're here to cover wrestling for people who are actually fans and actually just enjoy, hearing wrestling content. Not here to be gossip girls and all this other bullshit.
Be gossip girls and fucking weirdos. Yeah.
Yeah, and liars at that. Like that's another thing too. Like we built this wrestling shit off of being truth tellers because that's what we've always been. So we're gonna continue to be that. Even
Not
as
newsbreakers, we're truth tellers. Yep.
yeah, and even as we get into other things, there's other ideas because we are about to enter a very slow season for sports right now. So it's always other things we can do here as well because we are DAR Sports and media. So there are a number of things that we can cover and get into. So and I got some things working and dipping my foot in, several different pools right now. So, it sucks.
Speaking of other things going on, other pools, if you miss us, if you miss the game of football in general, catch us over on the United Football Media YouTube page because members of this team will be having 2 shows over there. 2 shows. I haven't quite made that announcement about the second show yet, but we will be back with Tell Me About It, covering the UFL over them for them. And then, might be a little something else going on too. So if you miss us covering football, sub to their page, the United Football Media, covering the UFL season kicks off March 28th. It's going to be fucking dope. We're fucking excited.
I can't wait.
So yeah.
And on top of, if you like football,
and then like I said, we'll be back soon. Yep.
Yeah. If you like football in the non-American way, as they like to call it, I will be doing some coverage here in Cincinnati for FC Cincinnati. Once their season starts up in February, that is confirmed. Just the last 2 hours. So we're everywhere right now. We are everywhere right now. We're making moves. We're in every sport possible. I don't know if you'll hear any podcasts about these sports because I don't know about that part. But also be on the lookout on the YouTube channel for Cincinnati Cyclones hockey coverage this weekend. I think I'm pulling double duty Friday and Saturday, as well as next Wednesday and next Friday. So and possibly some comedy, stand-up comedy
baby.
shit. Yeah, stand-up comedy shit. Like I said, we're making a lot of things happen. So make sure you stay tuned. The Medium site is I did not announce this because at this point, and I don't want to get too lax about it, but we've once again, January is our biggest month. We officially surpassed December yesterday, and total views and total read just keeps going up and going up. So numbers are crazy right now, and we haven't. Oh, speaking of, because you mentioned this NBA, and we mentioned the NBA Hoops Hour, we have an article about that particular possible trade that we're waiting on, coming from Tev. So shout out to Tev. I was literally did not realize what time it was, and that's why I was a little late joining the show because I was in the middle of editing that and getting ready to post it. So that'll be up by the time you hear this. It'll already be up. So yeah, got a lot of content.
Soccer, hockey, basketball, football, combat sports, spring football, all of this, and the written word. All of this because the world of DAR never stops.